The Diary of Anne Frank, Part 3. Since the invasion of Holland during the Second World War, the Nazis have intensified their persecution of the Jewish population. For almost 5 months now, 13-year-old Anne Frank, her parents and her sister Margot have been hiding in the sealed-off back rooms of an Amsterdam office building. Their hideout is shared with another Jewish family, Mr. and Mrs. Van Daan, and their 16-year-old son Peter. They've recently been joined by another fugitive, Mr. Dussel. Anne confides the daily happenings to her diary, a diary she's nicknamed Kitty.
Saturday the 28th of November. Dear Kitty, it was always said about Mr. Dussel that he could get on wonderfully with children and that he loved them all. Now he showed himself in his true colours. A stodgy, old-fashioned disciplinarian and preacher of long-drawn-out sermons on manners. As I have the unusual good fortune to share my bedroom, alas, a small one, with his lordship, and as I'm generally considered to be the most badly behaved of the 3 young people, I have a lot to put up with, and have to pretend to be deaf in order to escape the old, much-repeated tickings off and warnings. All this wouldn't be too bad if he wasn't such a frightful sneak, and he didn't pick on Mummy, of all people, to sneak to every time. Thursday the 10th of December. Mr. Van Daan used to be in the meat, sausage and spice business. Now he is showing the sausagey side of himself, which for us is by no means disagreeable. We had ordered a lot of meat, under the counter of course, for preserving in case we should come upon hard times. It was fun to watch first the way the pieces of meat went through the mincer 2 or 3 times, then how all the accompanying ingredients were mixed with the minced meat to make sausages. We fried the sausage meat and ate it with sauerkraut for supper that evening. But the Gelderland sausages had to be thoroughly dried first, so we hung them over a stick tied to the ceiling with string. Everyone who came into the room began to laugh when they caught a glimpse of the row of sausages on show. They looked frightfully funny. The room was a glorious mess. Mr. Van Daan, wearing one of his wife's aprons swathed round his substantial person, was busy with the meat. Mrs. Van Daan was trying to do everything at once, stirring the soup, watching the meat being done, sighing and complaining about her injured rib. That's what happens to elderly ladies who do such idiotic exercises to reduce their large behinds. Dussel had inflammation in one eye and was bathing it with chamomile tea by the fire. Pim, Daddy's nickname, who was sitting on a chair in a beam of sunlight that shone through the window, kept being pushed from one side to another. In addition, I think his rheumatism was bothering him, because he sat rather hunched up with a miserable look on his face, watching Mr. Van Daan at work. He looked exactly like some shriveled-up old man from an old people's home. Peter was doing his acrobatics round the room with his cat. Mummy, Margot and I were peeling potatoes. And of course, all of us were doing everything wrong because we were so busy watching Mr. Van Daan.